So Neil Druckmann was talking to Variety. He did a new interview with Variety, and he was discussing, obviously, the HBO's second season of The Last of Us. When this game came out, The Last of Us Part 2, do I need to remind you guys what happened?
Tommy! Right here! One more time, Tom! Yeah, baby! Again! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
I have the depth of a puddle. I want to make
There was so much controversy with this game. I couldn't wait to play this game. I remember pre-ordering this game, the Steelbook edition, and I was so excited for this game. Spoilers, when what they did to my favorite character, I completed the game because I wanted revenge. You kill about 375,000 people, dogs included, to get to the very last bit of the game, and the game doesn't give you the satisfaction to getting revenge because it's bad. Revenge is bad. So what did I do? I contacted Amazon, I asked for a refund, and I got my money back because I said it's false advertising. Supposedly, it's very hard to know how many copies this game sold because we've got things like supposedly it sold 10 million copies. I've seen people online saying compared to The Last of Us Remaster sold 18 million. Now, is that shipped units? Is that bought units? Because I got a refund. Does that take off the amount that's sold? I doubt it. Neil Druckmann did an interview. It's an indication that there might not be a Last of Us 3. Neil Druckmann, you should not expect The Last of Us 3 to be a surefire bet that gets made in the future. Despite the open-ended conclusion of the second game and his claim there's probably one more chapter to the story, because we all saw that video as well where he said there's probably one more chapter to this story, Druckmann suggests there aren't any guarantees around a third game. This comment came from a new interview with Variety discussing the HBO second season of its TV adaptation of The Last of Us. Towards the end of the piece, Druckmann is asked about The Last of Us Part 3. I was waiting for this question. I guess the only thing I would say is don't bet on there being more of Last of Us. This could be it.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
So Druckmann's latest quote somewhat goes against what he said to end in Naughty Dog's documentary for The Last of Us 2, which took a deep dive in the development of the sequel, which I think it got freaking ruined.
Get up!
At the time, he explained he had been unable to find a concept for the third game because you got rid of the best character. But recently that's changed because there was a concept about the game. There was a script, I do believe. The concept he had was as exciting as The Last of Us. One as exciting as The Last of Us 2. It's its own thing and yet has this through line for all three. So it does feel like there's probably one more chapter to the story.
I don't have a story, but I do have that concept that to me is as exciting as 1, as exciting as 2, is its own thing, and yet has this through line for all 3. So it does feel like there's probably one more chapter to the story.
Yeah, in your bra.
Of course, since the document aired, Naughty Dog announced PS5 Intergalactic, which assumed The Last of Us 2 would be the developer's next project after the game released and during a time span. The Last of Us multiplayer was cancelled. At the time of its scrapping, Naughty Dog said it had more than one ambitious brand new single-player game. Since he's working on Intergalactic, putting all his resources and everything's going into that game, would he say, yes, there will be a third one, 100%? You know, would he say that, you know, there is? Probably not. You could look at it like that because he's just focused on Intergalactic. If that game doesn't do well, I don't think Sony would be too happy with Neil Druckmann because at the minute, I know we're going by just the likes and dislikes ratio of Intergalactic. It has got more dislikes than likes. The game has done very, very bad on the likes to dislike. Chances are that it's going to do pretty bad. But I do believe, like, why would he say that if there wasn't going to be a Last of Us Part 3? When The Last of Us 2 came out, my gosh, the controversy, the divide between people was unbelievable. And I'm happy that people can agree to disagree, and that's great. I couldn't stand the game from the story aspect of the game. As you know, I feel like they ruined it. It was one of the weakest stories. I'm not just sour about what happened. It's the way that it happened. If the game was a massive success, like they said, it got Game of the Year. I don't know how it got Game of the Year. I think Ghost of Tsushima should have got Game of the Year. If it's that successful, why wouldn't Sony greenlight a third game? If there's not going to be a Last of Us 3, that must mean that it wasn't a success. Because we can talk about 10 million copies, but it's coming off the back of a very, very popular franchise. Like, I had no idea what the story was. They fooled me into thinking Joel was part of this story. So it's coming off the back of a very popular franchise that millions of people loved. A lot of people in my comments on previous videos, they keep going on, you're sour that Joel died. You're sour that. Yes, I am. But it is the way that it happened. You can't tell me that the way that it happened, he was so retarded in what he was doing, him and Tommy. Remember, I'm basing it off The Last of Us Part 1, how clever he was. Yes, it's been years. We haven't seen Joel change as a person. But the way that it happened was just so coincidental and stupid. It didn't make any sense to me. The Last of Us was so good, not just because of Ellie, because of Joel. I put Joel up there with like Kratos, with Jin Sakai. Like, it's like if they just butchered Kratos and he got battered. Wouldn't you be like, why would you do that? But don't worry, we've got another God of War game coming and you're playing as Angrboda. And I know Joel isn't a good guy, and that's the most amazing thing about this game. Well, listen, Kratos, you could say Kratos isn't a good guy. He killed all the damn gods in Greece. And I know there is no doubt that this is one of the best games in gameplay. It is probably the best game in terms of gameplay for a third-person game. Do I want to play the game? I was thinking, because I got the PS5 Pro, I was like, do I want to play the game? I was like, I'm not going to at the moment. If I feel like I do to experience the graphics, I might. That for me says it doesn't look like there's going to be a third game. I saw a video today from 2013 where Neil Druckmann was talking about what they initially had in terms of the concept of The Last of Us, and it was actually called something else, called Mankind. So in this game, the infection was only going to infect women.
We found the one girl that it didn't infect, and that was Ellie. And you kind of protected her and tried to like bring her to this lab where they were kind of finding a cure. And there were a lot of things that we were really excited about this idea, but ultimately it failed. And the reason it failed is because it was a misogynistic idea.
What?
The female workers at Naughty Dog came up and said, I don't like this idea. I understand what you're trying to do, that it is ultimately a story about the love of a girl, but the way it's coming off is you have a bunch of women turning into monsters and you're shooting them in the face. And whether we want to admit it or not, these are role models. And yet we sexualize, we objectify, we marginalize, and we reduce these female characters to a lot less than they can be. And this is coming from a guy that almost made a really misogynistic game.
So basically, it is bad to basically find any women attractive. If you like a really good looking woman and you're like, whoa, I would like to, that's bad. In order to keep the humankind going, you shouldn't be attracted to women, or you shouldn't look at women, shouldn't be good looking. I'm just saying it now. Women shouldn't be good looking. They shouldn't wear makeup. They shouldn't dress nicely. They shouldn't do anything that when they go on dates, it's not about pleasing the man. They shouldn't get together, make kids, and continue the human race. Are you not allowed to find people attractive these days? It's going so much into context. I think he's forgotten that you're making games. Basically, what he's saying is he doesn't want to create a character that is sexualized, boobs hanging out. Yeah, which is fine. Like, it's fine, but you're making it like there's a massive issue. Why is Leon Kennedy ripped? Nathan Drake, the rugged man, the good-looking man who's like, why? Like, he's taking everything. This is fantasy. I'm looking at the wrong camera. Kratos, he has most of his shirt off and he's got a six-pack. It's terrible. Talking about the gaming world, I get what people are saying in terms of I don't want people to take things out of context. I get what he's saying about having role models when you're older, but make every man ugly, make them less masculine, make every female less female. Yeah, we can enjoy video games. Well, I think he's lost the plot. I get what he's saying, but we're talking about games here. MJ from Spider-Man 2 looks nothing like MJ from the comics. She looks really freaking ugly. What? Like, it's a game. Let's not go in and alienate the characters like Lara Croft and stuff like that. They're badass characters as well. Just to make it clear, I'm not saying you should make every female character good looking with, you know, big bust and all of that. I'm not saying that. You can do both, but make the character a good character for a reason. Make the character development. I really, really wish with Abby and The Last of Us 2, how they would have got someone like me who loved Joel. What they should have done, they should have got Abby into the game early. She should have come into the camp. She may have met Joel. She maybe didn't know him. We would have known her backstory, and we would have known that he killed her dad. If I knew that, I would have been like, raw. Now I know why she wants revenge. Now I know. And that way I've built that relationship with Abby. Maybe she can do arms with me in the gym as well, because damn, her arms are big. But maybe I would have exactly found sympathy for her, and I would have been like, you know what? When it came to that place where she took out Joel, maybe I would have been like, listen, I empathize with her now.